Hello everyone, this is Vivek Atre and we're here for a very special session and it's a pleasure to meet you all. Can I just request the organizers to let me in from the other device? It's just, I'm in the waiting room, so that will make it easier for me. In the meantime, I'll just welcome Mr. Siddhartha and welcome Dolly, and it's fantastic to have both of you here.
Much.
It's a pleasure to meet you once again.
Thanks a lot and good evening to everybody.
Thanks a lot. Here we are again. That was two of me. Now it's one of me. So I'm sorry about that. And first, Mr. Siddhartha, thank you for joining us. It's a lovely pleasure to have you. And you are such a distinguished gentleman. It's really something, the kind of accomplishments. And I must say that you're an all-rounder, like, if I can humbly say, like me, with so many fields having been trodden upon. Even the fact that you're an earth scientist and you understand human beings apart from the technology and the geography and the space and things like that. And you are also a writer, a prolific speaker, and you have also been so good to so many civil servants, entered about 1,500 of them. So welcome, just say a hi or hello. I think you'll have to unmute yourself. Just unmute yourself. Siddhartha ji, just unmute yourself. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a privilege to be hearing all of those words, particularly from you, Vivek ji, largely because you yourself are so accomplished in this manner. I did certain of these things because I was compelled to do it. I had no option. So my back to the walls, I had no option. So I kept on experimenting with like that. That is one part that has taught me a lot of new things, which has been beyond generally anyone's purview. And hence this experience about this topic as well.
Wonderful. And you look very elegant sitting there in your office. I can see some books behind you, which is very appropriate for a literature festival to have a background with books. And we also have Dolly, whose name is strangely showing something else, but it's okay. We know it's Dolly over there.
That's my husband's laptop I'm using.
Your husband's laptop, okay. So as long as it's you on the screen, we don't want your husband right now. So Dolly is the founder of the Delhi Poetry Festival, one of India's largest multilingual standalone festivals. She runs the initiatives called Shescapes, a platform for urban women. She is the founder of New Leaf Minds, which is dedicated to children's poetry, and for which she was conferred the Karamveer and Global Fellowship Award for 3 consecutive years. Fantastic, Dolly ji. Lovely to have you both. And we're speaking on a very unique subject today, which is something which is going to draw a lot of interest, I'm sure, live as well as later when this recording goes out from GLF. In fact, it's my first time speaking at GLF. And big thank you to the festival directors, Ajay and Shapri, for inviting me to speak. Also, since the topic is so exciting, and if I can say so sexy, so captivating, so energizing and so interesting, I think I won't take much time in my intro. I'll just say that we live in an evolving world. It's a changing time, fast changing, and conceptions and preconceived notions are fast dissipating and dissolving and vanishing into the thin air. And it is a time when we live in remarkable changes which we could not have thought of 20 or 30 years ago, maybe not even 5 years ago in some cases. And today we are talking about something where a man-woman relationship suddenly becomes important all over again. And hasn't history always been about, in a way and in major ways, about men and women, of course. And here we are to talk about it. So without going too much into my thoughts, I really am very eager to hear from the two speakers on this panel. I'm going to request Professor Siddhartha first to speak for about 5 minutes with his opening remarks, and then I'm going to request Dolly to do so as well. Over to you, Siddhartha.
Thank you, Vivek. Thank you so much. I have seen and I observed that the world looks at beauty from two angles. One is when you go to find someone good looking and when you go to find someone attractive. Both of those have a different meaning altogether. And then when someone goes on to make you look beautiful, make you look attractive, and make you feel very desirable as well. To find someone who can go to make you look beautiful is a bliss. This is what exactly is love at first sight. This is what exactly is intelligence. This is what is emotion. This is what is empathy. This is what is wisdom, and that is what is humane as well. Now, this requires observation of the person concerned and who is observing that part. The expressions, the eyes, the smile of the person concerned, the silence, the differentiation whether they are fake or original. That's how exactly that you can go to make it out in this case. Now, the greatest yardstick of attraction towards a person is a respectful gesture, a gesture of disposition where you always go on to feel wanted, where you always go on to feel yourself desired, where you always go on to feel that you have been in the eyes of that person. Your explicit or implicit communication, which can be verbal or non-verbal, with affection, loaded with desire, because this is what human beings are all about. We are not animals, and we don't want to be having animalistic tendencies. Now, people who are inherently attractive are the people whose response is attractive. Their response is uncluttered, their response is simple, their response is very rich, and overall, the dimension is their entire disposition of dimension is aura. Anything like a brawny, muscular look is by and large carnal in nature, and that is not enjoyable, it's not relaxing or soothing as well. It's almost like that of raw food. But being sapiosexual means appreciation of the taste, appreciation of the food, appreciation of the preparation, appreciation of the ambience, appreciation in the way it has been served. That is how exactly that I go on to look at it. And it is reflective of the intuitive ability of a person. Most of this intuitive ability happens to be associated with the females because male counterpart go on to look at lot of things from a logical disposition or a logical angle. Women are much more capable of emotional differentiation, and at the same time, they are very intuitive as well. That's the basic reason that they go to reach to a conclusion much more faster without going through the logical steps of coming to that conclusion. Now, all in all, if we can go on to say it so, it is going to be all about looks can go on to be more primitive. Anyone who is going to be turned only by looks, that is going to be very, very primitive, very tribal as well. Human beings brought up in a manner where their brain has evolved, where their psyche has evolved, where their aesthetics are evolved, that looks at more than looks, that looks at intelligence, sympathy, compassion, not the color of the eyes, but the reflection of the eyes. And as what Premchand said some time back, Sundar Mukh ka pratek bhav parivartan sundar hota hai.
Wonderfully well said, Siddhartha ji. I think you've set the ball rolling very well. In fact, your understanding of the female of the species is very, very, if I can say so, high level for a man. I'm a man myself, as you can see, but understanding women. And what I really liked was, and I always say this, the emotional differentiation that you mentioned. The kinds of sensibilities that women have, let us face it, are superior to men. And Dolly, we're not saying this only because you are here, but we will say this, I think, Siddhartha ji and I, 100 times if we have to. So, Dolly, over to you for your preliminary thoughts for the next 4 or 5 minutes on the subject and maybe a little bit on what Siddhartha ji said. Mentioning and telling us why girls are more likely to be sapiosexual than men, perhaps, and why their maybe caliber or their thinking or their thought process is more refined in this manner. So why don't you just talk about your research in this, Siddhartha?
I'm going to talk about my observation in this case.
Sure.
We are well aware of this fact that a girl goes on to mature faster at her age, for her age, in comparison to a boy. This is largely because of the fact that girls go on to learn by two ways. I mean, intuitive learning as well as logical, which we have talked about. The second is most of the girls go on to get the love of everything in one person concerned. They look for at least five things in men. One is that they go on to look for in men is that of a father, of a protector, of a boyfriend. And of course, a conversation is the one that can go on to stimulate intellectually. And in companion as well, the one that can go on to be a very, very good company. And when they are going to be alone, of course, they want to get devastated as well in that sense. Now, that's the third part is for a girl, maturity is synonymous to age most of the times. Of course, they can go on to get they can go on to meet some boys who can go on to be very, very intellectual in the sense of observation and knowledge as well. Now, this is something that has been reflected in some of the books like 50 Shades of Grey, where the hero had been almost 50 years of age and so. The third factor is unlike boys who are turned on by looks, girls go on to mostly turned on by conversation. They go on to like to talk more. And girls do go on to build a stock of something like 32,000 words every day in comparison to 7,000 word stock of boys every day. The fourth part is intelligence is the hallmark of being powerful. Intelligence is the hallmark of being able to take control of a lot of things. Now, girls always want power, and they always want that they should go on to be ruled by someone that is going to be powerful. And in this case, power goes into become synonymous to something else. The fifth part is that intelligence allows a person to have a high degree of adaptability. And even if the degree of adaptability towards girls can go to be high, because the girls can go to know that she is going to be understood, even if she goes into through certain type of tantrums as well. The sixth is intelligence, knowledge is generally associated with knowledge, and knowledge is translated into communication. And when it is going to be transformed into communication, communication indeed goes on to become very beautiful. This is largely because it goes on to become multi-dimensional of some sense. Moreover, knowledge and intelligence in the future is a protection. It's a prestige. It's a respectability. Anyone can go to enjoy it, because anyone in this age in a gig economy like this one has a knowledge. That means a person possessing knowledge has power as well. A person possessing knowledge has vision as well. A person possessing knowledge also goes on to be having a specter of thinking that can go on to engage a girl in a variety of ways. And of course, there is a sexual side as well.
Right. Very well analyzed. Not find that perfect woman or perfect man. Relationships are anyway under strain because of long hours, expectations, impatience, stress, and family pressure, etc. Marriages also break up. So, what is it that Siddhartha ji first? What is it that men and women need to be or do in order to understand this imperfection and yet carry on with them, with their partners?
I have seen and observed, Vivek, that is when you are in love, there is no breakup in love at all. There may be breakup in companionship, but love doesn't break up. That's the first part. Second is marriages also, when they go on to happen, they don't go on to squander themselves up at all, because you go on to get married to your passion. You can go on to get married to your motivation. The girl can be your motivation, the boy can be your motivation. And when you are going to be getting married to your motivation, well thought of, then it will never ever break up at all. What breaks up is a wedding. And there is a difference between marriage and wedding. The understanding among the boys and girls is lacking here, because they are not able to differentiate their emotions, neither of them. And this is largely because of the fact that they have been not taught about it. They have not evolved in such a manner to think in such a way.
Wonderfully well said. I think, Dolly, over to you for the same question.
So there is nothing called a perfect marriage. You have to make it perfect. You have to make it near perfect. There are always conflicts, and conflict is a very healthy thing, because that shows men and women, they both have their own thoughts, they have their own brains. uh, Earlier, like, there were marriages were not really breaking up so frequently, because women were not like, I'll say, allowed to speak, right? Today women are speaking, and now, like they say, I'll find my way or make it. So if I can't find my way to a perfect marriage, then I'll make it. I'll pick the things that I like in a person, in my husband, and I'll see, okay, these are the things I have in him. Okay, this should be good enough for my marriage to sustain. So a man, I think, can also think that ways. We have to
Wonderful.
work on a marriage constantly.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think what we can do in the last couple of minutes is, by stating a couple of sentences each, we can give our overall opinion on the subject and close with that. So just a couple of sentences, 2 or 3 sentences, Siddhartha ji, and then Dolly. Siddhartha ji.
Yes, that's right. See, I have got myself married to my passion and my subject, and I'm not going to be getting divorced by that at all. Right? And it's only I have seen that is when the people do not going to understand the purpose of marriage. It's only then that goes to break up of sorts. Divorce is a completely alien word that has been imposed in India only by the Mughals and later by the British. There never used to be anything called as a divorce in ancient India at all. It has come from outside. Words like divorce, rape, and some of those much more ugly words, they have all come from outside. We have been much more evolved, and we're going to see that on the walls of Khajuraho, on the walls of Hoysaleshwar, in Halebide, in Kanchipuram, in most of the places. Aesthetics have been our hallmark. And aesthetics, the marriage, when there is going to be of aesthetics and of the mind, of the thinking, it is impossible that we're going to break up differences in personality apart.
Wonderfully well said.